Hey, what's up everybody, and welcome to month 3 recap of commercial diving school. In this video, I'm going to be going over week 9, 10, 11, and 12 for you guys. And so if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, leave a like if you enjoyed this video, and leave any comments or questions for me in the comment section below. So for starting off week 9, we started off with contaminated dives, and then we found these pipes that the school puts down at the bottom of the river off of one of the dive stations, and we located them just by doing line sweeps or umbilical sweeps. We located these pipes, and then we basically hooked it up to a chain fall to pull it up topside. And then once we located each pipe, pulled them all up topside, we basically set it there for the next day. And then the next day we came back and we fitted the pipes together and kind of did a dry run, made sure we had all the gaskets, which we should have had 3 gaskets, and then made sure we had all the bolts and washers. And so we should have 8 sets of bolts for each flange for the entire pipe system, which what we call it. And so basically we did a dry run, made sure we had everything, and then we took everything apart and then sent the 2 90-degree pipes down, and then we sent the 2 long 12-foot that big around straight pipes down into the water. And then we started assembling the pipe underwater. It was pretty dark, you can't really see anything, so you kind of really have to do everything by feel. And this is one of the only times where you actually get to work with other divers. Basically any other time in commercial diving school, we've been doing everything solo, but on this project, you know, you could be telling someone, hey, put this pipe, put this bolt on this pipe here and do this, and you're grabbing their hand and, you know, trying to communicate with them, because you can't directly talk to them through their comms. You have to talk to either topside and then they talk to them, or there's a way where you can talk to them but then topside can't hear you, and it just gets all messy. So it's pretty crazy and new kind of situation for everybody. But anyways, we also started to split everybody up, and half the people started doing pile jackets, which basically you take a big square half piece of fiberglass, and it's about 6 feet tall, and they come in 2 pieces so that you can fit them over an existing pile of concrete. And you basically fit them together, and then there's a series of wood clamps, and they also have long threaded like, I don't know how to call them, but threads, basically long pieces of metal that have threads on them so that you can clamp together the pile jackets. And that's a big job in commercial diving industry, so we got some practice in that. And then so basically the rest of that week we continued with half our divers that were in the water were working on that job, and then half the divers were working on the pipe. And we basically assembled the pipe and all the pieces together twice. Like, we put the whole thing together in the water, and then we took it all apart and then brought it back up topside, and then we put each piece back in the water and then put it all back together. So it was just kind of recycling the same job just to get everybody acquainted with putting together and assembling pipes underwater. And so that brings us to week 10. Week 10, we started off in the pool, where we started doing our bailout slash out of air drills. And we did 3 different drills, and we did 1 round of drills where we can see just clearly and everything, and then we did another round of those same drills, but they taped our viewports so we can't see anything. So we basically do it blind. And so the drills were basically like, one drill was a normal air bailout drill where they secure your main air, and so you have to go on your bailout. That's, you know, the scuba tank on your back, or the 80 cubic foot tank, or whatever you want to call it. Basically your bailout bottle. You turn that on, and that's a bailout drill. And then the other drill is where you use your pneumo hose, which is one of the hoses that's on your umbilical. You can actually stick that into your hat, and you can breathe off of that, as long as there's air coming out of it, of course. But we did a third drill, and the third drill was you take your bailout whip that would normally be connected to your hat or to your tank, and you basically connect it to an external air source that runs up to topside. So you kind of go off air for like, you can't breathe for like, you know, as long as it takes you to unhook that and hook that up. So maybe 30 seconds at most. But yeah, that was pretty cool and pretty fun. That day we actually got to chill in our wetsuits and just kind of chill by the pool and everything. For lunch, you actually can't wear your wetsuit in the lunchroom, so you have to switch out of your wetsuit for a little bit, and then you can put it back on. And then when everybody else is, you know, busy doing their drills and stuff, you can be, you know, kind of chilling on the side in the pool, kind of cooling down and, you know, taking a break from your regular work, you know, that we do every other day. So that was a really cool day. And then the next day of week 10, we got practice working with tools. So we use the hydraulic chisel, and each tool that you use, you also get a chance to run whatever system operates it. So for example, there's a hydraulic pump that you use in conjunction with the hydraulic chisel. So it runs on diesel. You get a chance to, you know, learn how to check the oil, learn how to check, you know, to see if it has enough fuel, learn how to start it, learn kind of basic operations of it and how to run it and keep it running. And when you're using a tool, it's taking on a load. So you have to actually turn up the RPMs on it to keep it running correctly. So you get all that information while you're using the tool, or while we use the tool. We also got to use the airlift, and we got to use a water jet. So if you missed the video I did on day 47, I actually shot a bunch of footage of us using all of those tools for that particular day. So if you missed that and want to, you know, check that out and see what it looks like, go back and watch that video to see all that stuff. So then we got to use all the tools in the water, and then we took our midterm, which I passed, and I got a really good grade on it. I got at least 92 on my midterm, which is good. And then we had a communication skills day in the classroom, which we also talked about career services. Basically, there's a guy at the school that is basically your advocate for getting a job, and he'll work with you on your resume, on your cover letter, on putting you on a list as called a grad list that gets sent out to different companies. I think it's like over 200 companies get your phone number, get your email, and if you're a veteran or not. So that's a really good thing. And then also later on when we graduate, I think we get a list of companies, but not just the company, an actual person to contact at that company and their direct number. So, and that's, you know, like the 200 companies as well. And so anyways, that's really good. So then we moved on to week 11, where we basically did underwater construction. So we continued working with the hydraulic chisel. We used the hydraulic barnacle buster. We couldn't use the airlift because the diesel compressor broke. So That was pretty disappointing, but we did get to jet water, underwater, and create more holes in the river, and add to the hundreds of holes that are down there already from previous classes. And then I got to dive for 3 hours because I needed to make up some dive time, and I got to use a lift bag, which was pretty cool. So I've had experience using a lift bag, and then I got to use the barnacle buster and bust up some barnacles off some concrete piles. And then I got to use a water jet for about 2.5 hours. So they use basically a trash pump, and it sucks up water from the river, and basically uses a gas engine to drive a water pump that shoots water out of basically like a normal fire hose. And it has like a special, PVC pipe nozzle on it, that you can point at the ground, the bottom of the river, and make like a 3 or 4 foot hole in like a few seconds. So basically you got to just punch a bunch of holes, and try to fill in some of the holes that are already made, because you don't want too many holes out there, because that really sucks to step in them. But anyways, on Friday of that week 11, we got to use the underwater chainsaw. I took videos of that, so if you guys haven't seen that, go check it out, to see what that looks like. But we used the chainsaw in the 10-foot tower, and then the pool is right next to the 10-foot tower, so we got to actually do some like diver related training, which we like all linked arms, like a row of like 7 of us, and then we all did like a front flip together and a back flip, and we just had to like work together in like our wetsuits and everything in the swimming pool to train and stuff like that, which I talked more about on that day's video and stuff like that. But then which brings us to week 12. Week 12 was welding the entire week. We did actually get to do a project, but it was at the last 2 hours of the week. They put together a cool scythe, like the Grim Reaper's scythe, but the handle was like chains. And actually for my day 60 video, I show like pictures in that video of what it looks like and everything. So if you want to see that, go check that out. But basically, we used the oxygen-acetylene torch to burn various junk or scrap metals that we could find in the scrap bin. And then we worked on welding. I worked on flat welds, vertical welds. I tried to weld a butt joint, and I think I did a lot more flat welds along with that. But that was basically our welding week. We're welding topside. In case you guys didn't know, we're welding topside that whole entire week, and then we'll move on next week to do underwater welding. So we haven't welded anything underwater yet. That's coming up. We're now moving from juniors to being seniors, so now we can park at the school, we can wear shorts. That's like a short list of our new, things that we can do now that we're senior. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you like this video, please leave a like. If you have any comments or questions for me, please leave it in the comment section down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay tuned for more. I will see you in the next video. I hope you guys have a great one. Peace.